Welcome back, everyone. Yes, indeed. It's that time again for us all to retreat into the safe space. And get ready, get ready. There could be some triggers along the way today. I'm warning you before we even get going. So I would say welcome, ladies and gentlemen, but no, that could well be offensive. We're gonna find out why in a minute. Oh, and it's getting cold outside. Oh yes, I see Mammoth in the chat room. Dang, dude. See, I remembered it early today. So yes, we'll take a look and see who's out there in chat land right now. We have got Jason from last night, absolutely stole the show. Getting fed up with you guests and listeners stealing the show from me. What is that all about? Disco Hat feeling very triggered by the headwear that is on show in the chat room. Yes, that's okay, that's allowed. Sam Rodriguez, Brandy Polk, CB... We've got Valley King. Who else we got in there? Queen Goddess. Yes, indeed. And Oak Island starts today, folks. Can you believe it? Brandy says, Wake and Bake with Kev. Kev should title a show that. I've got so many different shows and titles. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Plenty of air bursts outside. Oh, it's crazy here where I am. I'll tell you all about that in a minute as well. Who else we got in the chat room before we go to the other studio and you get to see my ugly mush? Who else we got in here? Let's see. Stephanie Green, great to see you again. Honey Badger, love that name. Black-eyed children, aliens, or government visitors. Oh, none of the above, thankfully. Thankfully not. Yeah. First World Problem says it used to be a big thing. We used to have massive bonfires and fireworks, and communities would all gather around, but health and safety banned it. It's all small now. Yes, indeed. We've seen Susie in there. I see Brian, Tiffany, anyone else, and I will catch them as we go, folks. But yes, it is. Remember, the 5th of November. We'll fix this. What the heck's going on here? I mean, I like to see your chat, but that's just a little bit too crazy big, right? How y'all doing, folks? Hope you're all good, raring to go. Safe space rules apply. There'll be no shouting. There'll be no applauding. Jazz hands rules are in effect. And we've got the finger paints in the corner. We have got Play-Doh over there. You know the rules in here, okay? You know how it rolls. And we've got so much to talk about. And we're going to need somewhere padded and soft and safe by the time we get into some of these stories today. I'm telling you, it's crazy. The world's getting worse. It truly, truly is. How can it get any worse, I hear you say? Well, it is. Just take a look around you. Wait till I fix this pesky chat box. Hang on. There we go. I think that's it. Who knows? There we go. It looks a bit better now. Yeah, there we go. So how y'all doing, everyone? All good? Yes? And if I missed anyone out in the chat room, I do apologise. I will get to you as the show goes on. We'll be spending some time. I said we, like it's the royal we. It's just me here. Well, Kevin and Anne are here, but you know what I mean. Okay? And I wouldn't be surprised if I get hit with a shoe throughout the course of this stream today, because Anne's been giving me one of those looks. You know, guys, you know when you get that look, you don't know what you've done wrong, but you know you've done something. You know you have. Yeah, I'm getting that feeling that maybe I've done something wrong and I don't know about it. So that could be an extra bit of entertainment. And of course, we can't start the chat room or start the show without giving Kristen her shout out. I think I've seen Kristen sneaking in there somewhere. I think maybe Cricket. She's called Cricket today. I don't even want to know what that's all about. Stephanie's sitting in a padded room right now. Yep, that could well be very much a necessity soon. Neo's Red Pill says here, IR is a perturbations you receive from the Christos enjoying slumber of dreams in the transdimensional slipstream. Damn, dude, you just melted my head. Absolutely melted my head. And I see you sending shoes, Mammoth and Valley. Don't try and manifest that reality for me. Come on. Maybe we could do a stream one day, for charity or something, where you can pay money and we'll donate it to charity and Anne can slap me with a shoe. Probably better for a different site, right? Probably. I don't enjoy being slapped by the shoe, by the way, just so that people are very clear on this. And I also need to point out that during the course of this stream, and I'm going to try and keep it down to an hour today, because we have got November the 5th, and I am very, very close to Glasgow Green. And as you all found out the other day, when we were talking about the Gorbals vampire, I'm really close to the centre of Glasgow. So on November the 5th, we have Scotland's largest bonfire and fireworks display. There's going to be police helicopters above the flat. There's going to be thousands of people parking out in the street for one night only, all descending on Glasgow Green. And at one point during the stream, when it reaches the crescendo, it's going to sound like we're probably over in some war-torn country. It's absolutely horrific when this gets going. It's one thing being there. We used to take Kevin down when he was younger, down to the fireworks, and great fun going down as a family. Freezing cold, but then you would come back, right? And then in recent years, I've kind of stayed in the house, but when you hear it in the house, because it's echoing around all the housing estate, it gets crazy. So if it sounds like I'm coming under some kind of attack, don't worry about it, okay? Not just yet. That'd be a good time for the aliens to strike, though, right? Everyone would just be sitting thinking it was fireworks going off, when really it would be those phaser weapons that we know the Zeta Reticulans have on board. I don't know. I'm losing the plot. And when you start to see some of the stories I'm going to get into today, you'll see why I'm losing the plot. And I was meant to be meeting Whistles in town today, as you all know. It all went horribly wrong. And I can't blame Whistles, because myself and Whistles, he phoned me the other morning, really early in the morning. And when you phone me early in the morning, it's akin to waking up a Chewbacca with a toothache. So I think Johnny Whistles thought to himself, I don't want to phone Kev too early. And then it got to the point where he didn't phone. And by the time I messaged Whistles, he'd already gone home today. So we never got our coffee. So I still had to go into town, and I tell you what, folks. Oh, dearie, dearie me. I tell you something. It's not just me, right? But it's getting cold outside, isn't it? And that is where we're going to start today. And that's why I have got little hats for anyone that may be feeling a little cold, may even be feeling a little offended as we enter this period of the year. Like happens this year, every day somebody's offended now, right? But this is where we are going to start today. And we took a little look at one of these stories just the other day when it started to break. But we've got more on this now. And I think it's really important to talk about this, because in recent years, we've seen statues being removed. We've seen books being removed. We've seen people being removed from the internet. And it's almost as if they're trying to, as I call it, Google wash history. That they're trying to change history to make it fit the way the world is now, and to make sure it doesn't offend anyone in this crazy rewired world that we're in. And of course, one of the things that they're trying to change are lyrics and lines from songs. Songs that for decades never offended anyone until now. And even those that may be offended by the odd lyric in a song here or a song there, they are in such a small minority compared to everyone involved that it's actually quite laughable. But as opposed to us, just continuing on and ignoring the kind of ideas of these people and and just adopting common sense. No, 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 no. The world must take the knee, bow, and pander to the madness that is Woketopia. Yes, that's what I should have called today's show. Woketopia. I can go in and change it in a minute. This is what we're going to call it, because this is a day in the life of Woketopia, right? So what happens in a day in the life of Woketopia? Well, when it gets cold outside, not only do you have to put a hat on, but when it gets towards this time of year, you have to go changing the lyrics of very, very famous songs. Now, like I said, I brought this up the other day, but I want to get into it a bit deeper now, because we have all of the lyrics. Yes. Remember that song, It's Cold Outside? Do, 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 do. I can't sing, right? But last year, that got a hell of a lot of press because so many people were saying that in light of the Me Too movement, this song was actually a bit creepy, a bit stalkerish, a bit, I can't even say the word because it'll trigger the algorithm, but when somebody commits a really, really, really evil act on somebody else and it begins with R, yes, it's even a little bit like that. So this piece here from Piers Morgan, and I don't really like Piers Morgan per se. He's not the kind of guy I would like to sit down and have a pint with. I find some parts of Piers Morgan absolutely repulsive, and then there's other times when I think Piers Morgan is the kind of guy that I'd like to go on holiday with. He gets it. So that's why he infuriates me. And I think he gets it all the time, but he knows how to be controversial. He knows how to push buttons. And I like the buttons he's pushing on this one. Because it says here, if Saint John Legend's so worried about inappropriate song lyrics, why doesn't he leave Baby It's Cold Outside alone and rewrite all the far more sexist and misogynist filth spewed by his rapper friends? And I want you to think about that, folks. And I've got nothing against rap music. I like some rap music. Hip-hop, you name it. I'll listen to it if it's good. But some of the lyrics, some of the things that they've sang about over the years, you know, in recent times, a little bit dodgy, right? Hose here, hose there, lots of bad, naughty stuff here, there, everywhere. And yet, nothing said about these songs or these artists, and it's this one here. This is the one that seems to have triggered everyone. And we'll go into this, we'll see some of the new lyrics here, right? But it says, my favourite festive holiday song is Baby It's Cold Outside. Immortalised in 1949 movie. How long was that in? What, 50, 70 years ago? This song's like 70 years old and people are getting pissed about it now. Go figure. So immortalised in the 1949 movie Neptune's Daughter, it's a joyous celebration of flirtation as a handsome, charming man tries to persuade a beautiful, charming woman to stay with him on a wintry night. Nothing wrong with that. Then or now, if you ask me. But let's go down. There's nothing sleazy about it, or nasty, or even remotely problematic, to quote the ghastly buzzword of modern-day political correctness. It's funny, sexy, playful, and both men and women are completely in control of their own actions during the mutually enjoyable and totally consensual experience. This is a scene that has played out billions of times in history of our great planet. It's called seduction. And that process only becomes something sinister or even criminal when a woman has been forced to do something she doesn't want to do. And that's just not the case in Baby It's Cold Outside. It was written by US songwriter Frank Loesser to sing with his wife Lynn Garland at their housewarming party in New York. The original lyrics include these lines. My mother will start to worry. Man, beautiful, what's your hurry? The neighbours might think, baby, it's cold out there. Say what's in this drink. No cabs to be had out there. So to 99% of all those who have ever heard these lyrics, particularly in context of the film clip, they're perfectly sweet and innocent. But to the 0.00001 of super woke, that's what you find in Woketopia peers, permanently offended virtue signalers out there, this is in fact a sickening depiction of sexual harassment or even a really, really nasty crime between men and women. Can you believe it? To them, oh, sorry, phone going off. To them, the man's obviously a disgusting monster, refusing to understand that no means no, who has slipped some kind of Bill Cosby-style drug into a woman's drink in an effort to render her unconscious so he can attack her. And that's the thing, folks. If you were to listen to that 0.00001%, you would think that every man is lurking around every corner with some kind of club over their head, like a caveman, ready to whack you, drag you back to their lair. Forget seduction, that's what the super woke would love people to believe. It's actually what they believe. Go figure. It's mind control. There's brainwashing. There's mental disorders here, if you ask me. But it says this ridiculous narrative started by a few angry feminists a few years ago, reached a crescendo in the wake of the Me Too scandal that erupted after the exposure of movie mogul Harvey Weinstein. Now, by late 2018, radio stations began banning the song altogether, led by WDOK, Star 102 in Cleveland, Ohio, which attributed its decision to lyric content based on listener input amid the Me Too movement. Now, I would hazard a guess that not too many people phoned up any radio station to actually complain about this song until they were told to by the media. Until the media gave that 0.00001% a voice. And that's when people would have began getting outraged, right? Because, like I said, 1949, this song first appeared. And it's taken us, right up until the time when we're now living in Woketopia for it to offend people? Does that tell you it might just be something in Woketopia that might be wrong? Perhaps. So it says here, the public gloriously reacted by marching out to buy Dean Martin's iconic version of the song in such huge numbers it rocketed back into the Billboard chart, with sales surging 70% thanks to the furore. And this is the thing. And there is people out there who rightly question, when you have these kind of stories about when things are going woke, and Gillette is the perfect example, okay? Now, when Gillette put out their woke advert where it was really basically saying that all men were potential serial killers and serial rapists, it was expected that this would be really, 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 really damaging to the company because they were basically going after their target audience, right? But there's weird things happen when you go into this whole woke world. And yes, they did get hit in some way, shape and form. But at the same time, all of this publicity, when you do step into the woke arena, it generates nothing but free advertising. And then you get that kind of Streisand effect as well. Because when something like this becomes controversial, or they say they're going to be changing something, or they're pointing at one thing or another, what it does is it drives sales in that direction because people react and they go and pay attention. So there are some out there that think, well, maybe this is just like some marketing technique from companies from times to time, just to act woke, because it does actually pay off in the long run. And when it comes to these people like John Legend and the celebrities, it's not quite the same case, but they always love to virtue signal. And they're the trendsetters, they're the influencers, they're the ones that can swell the ranks of the 0.0001% to maybe 0.00002%. You never know. But if we scroll down here, I want to get to the new lyrics, right? It says, in fact, it was just the start because singer John Legend, who along with his publicity-mad swimsuit model wife, Christy Teigen, is Hollywood's self-appointed virtue signaller-in-chief, I like that, decided the original version of Baby It's Cold Outside is so despicable that the lyrics must be rewritten for the Me Too era. I wish I could sing. I really wish I could sing, okay? Because if I could sing, this would be hilarious. So what's he done? Well, no, so that's what he's done. Writing a new version with insecure comedian Natasha Rothwell that he performs with Kelly Clarkson. Now, the new lyrics include, here we go, folks. I really can't stay. And the man says, baby, it's cold outside. Well, I've got to go away. I can't. I can call you a ride. This evening has been fun. So glad you dropped in. So very nice. Time spent with you is paradise. My mother will start to worry. I'll call her and tell him to hurry. What will my friends think? I think they should rejoice. If I have one more drink, it's your body and your choice. What a load of nauseating PC crazed tripe. At this stage, it's worth remembering how Mr. Legend himself first got together with Miss Tegan. They met on the set of his musical video for the song Stereo. Oh yes, very, very Me Too friendly kind of material there, John. So he was the most powerful man on set, the star, and therefore effectively the boss. How toxic, eh? She was an impressionable 21-year-old model hired to work alongside him. Miss Tegan told Cosmo several years later, I walked into John's dressing room to meet him, and he was ironing in his underwear. I said, you do your own ironing? He said, of course I do. And I gave him a hug. Imagine that was nowadays, right? Imagine you, like some star just stood there, 21-year-old model walks into the star's changing room and he's there in his boxer shorts and whoa, hashtags. Well, you know that's ending up in court cases and hashtags, right? So yeah, this is just another example of the ridiculousness that exists within Woketopia. Whether it's our language that's getting butchered, and we're going to take another look at, there's been an update on the emoji story. We've got more woke emoji stories as this stream goes on. So whether it's an attack on the language, whether it's rewriting history, whether it's tearing down idols and statues, commemorating our past, whether it's brainwashing all of the children involved as well, to the point where the next generations are going to be the first fully fledged, indoctrinated citizens of Woketopia. They're going to be full Woketopians. And I know some of you out there right now, my age, you might have children yourself. I do. I'm blessed. My son isn't woke. Oh, no, no, no. He doesn't go quite as far as me into shouting at the TV and shouting at woke ads and things that he sees in the street. That's my job. But I know some of you out there may well have children that are woke. And it's not their fault and it's not your fault. This is just the system and they're just turning out the way that they're meant to be. Why? So that they're able to do craziness like this in Woketopia. And soon, the past, which is already kind of fluid anyway with the whole kind of Mandela effect, it's never going to be the way it once was. And who knows, from day to day, history itself may change. But it doesn't stop here with Piers Morgan. No, no, no. Because Piers is quite outspoken about this stuff, and because he has a far bigger platform than Kev Baker here, he gets a heck of a load of grief by the kind of virtue signalers and the outrage mob, to the point where, I mean, this was a guy that they basically kicked off CNN. Remember, like he had a CNN role, and then there was like a petition to send him back to the UK. And in the UK, people started a counter petition, so America and CNN need to keep him. He's always been a controversial kind of character. And now what we're seeing is, because of his outspokenness when it comes to the gender Olympics out there, as I call it, there's people calling for his job. And this is what happens. You see, this is this kind of cancel culture that we're in as well, because you can't even dare stand up and challenge any of these ideas, any of these things that are going on, like the pronoun stuff that was going on as well. You know, you can't really stand up and question any of that. No hate, no hype, no fear, just questioning it. No, people want you to lose your job. People want other people kicked off social media. They want them silenced. And this from the woke crowd who preach equality and freedom of speech, eh? Woketopia is definitely the pimped out version of Bizarro Land, folks. It's like the smart city version of Bizarro Land. And remember, because we're in the inversion, there's nothing smart about it. Flip it round. This is dumbed down Landia. Dumbed down dear? That'd be a good one, wouldn't it? Dumbed down dear. Oh, I went to Dumb Down Dia and all I got was this pesky t-shirt. Yes, indeed. So, Piers, they're trying to kick him out of his job. Check this out. Piers Morgan will not face Ofcom investigation after gender remarks sparked 950 complaints. So look at these 950 legends. Absolute legends. Just think of the likes and the little love hearts and retweets they would have got when they told their fellow members of the outrage mob just what they'd done. Yes, they took a stand. All the things going on in the world, but they decided to get active over Piers Morgan and his comments. I'm so proud of them. That's the kind of people we need. We need 350, or we need, 7.5 billion people like these 950, What absolute legends. White knighting it in there, sticking up for all these people with all their various genders. And I bet you not one person probably. In fact, I would put money on it that not one person who phoned up to complain was somebody who has transitioned, who's somebody that maybe does have gender dysphoria. No. It would have been biological men and biological women that still identify as biological men and biological women, yet still feel that need to introduce themselves with their own pronouns. Hey, listen, I'm not stupid. I can see you're a man. I can see you're a woman. If you're going to use the pronouns, at least let's keep it confined to when maybe you look like a woman, but you're a man, or vice versa. I don't know, because if you're just going to look like me, and if I was to say my name's Kev, he, him, that's pretty much virtue signaling, right? Because I think everyone can tell I'm a he, him. Now I'm on my high horse. And unless I want kicked out the country and cancelled like Piers Morgan, I better shut up, right? So it says here, the controversial presenter said he identified as a penguin during a debate on Good Morning Britain. And why not? Yeah, it's ridiculous, but the whole thing's ridiculous. It's utterly farcical. And of course, because he identified as a penguin, he gets picked on. People want him cancelled. But anyone else can identify as anything else, and they get a get out of free jail card. You couldn't make this stuff up, folks. You just couldn't make this stuff up. And I'm not lying, because there was even a case, and I'm going to have to dig up the story maybe, where somebody went to court for having really, really nasty, horrible, bad material on their computer, the kind of stuff that nobody should have on their computer, and they got let off with community service. Why? Because they said they were having problems because they were in the middle of transitioning at the time. And the judge, dang, politically correct, whoa, shield of steel around this one. That's okay. Anyone else would have gone to jail and correctly gone to jail for a length of time and made to sign a register for the rest of their life. But no, you're okay. You're okay. You're protected. You're a protected species. So yeah, Piers Morgan will not face an investigation. Good Lord, common sense wins the day, folks. It wins. Common sense is still out there, I'm telling you. Over controversial comments he made about gender on Good Morning Britain after the TV watchdog has confirmed. In September, the presenter sparked almost 1,000 complaints to the regulator after he identified as a penguin. Piers made the remark during an on-air debate in response to a BBC film that said there were more than 100 genders. Oh. Dearie me. And get ready, folks, get ready. I've just heard Anne in my ears saying about 15 minutes from now we're going to be getting bombarded by fireworks. Yes, indeed. Yeah, I had to take a little time out there at the 100 genders part. Jason, this is how you do it. You just have to take a deep breath to yourself. Sex Lexia, big shout out to you. Vanya, Hodgod, Brett, 777 Outdoors, Stimulate, Tim. You see, and now that I've taken that little 5 or 10 seconds out, balance has returned. Let's get back into this crazy story, shall we? Referencing a story about a baby penguin. Remember the story we talked about where the baby penguin was adopted by the lesbian penguins, and they're going to be bringing the penguin up as a non-binary penguin until the penguin can choose whether it wants to be a boy or a girl penguin. Remember that story? Not making this up. This isn't Monty Python. This is the real world. People didn't like freak out about the fact that they're abusing penguins, but because Piers Morgan says he identified as a penguin, people freak out. I don't get it. I really don't get it. But it says here, referencing a story about a baby penguin at London Aquarium being raised gender neutral by a lesbian penguin couple. He said, what? Lesbian penguin couple. Like, so is one quite pretty, quite attractive? Is the other one quite butch? Does it get a skinhead? I don't know. All my stereotyping again? Sorry. Ofcom subsequently assessed the 950 complaints made concerning, quote, transgender discrimination / offence, and have now ruled that the show did not raise issues warranting investigation in a report published on Monday. Even the fact that we have to investigate stuff like this, the fact that we've got boards of people, committees set up to investigate what should be deemed transgender discrimination or an offence is absolutely ridiculous and tells you everything you need to know about Woketopia, doesn't it? Doesn't it? And you listen to the likes of David Icke and people that are more knowledgeable on how politics and political systems work, and they talk about socialism and Marxism, where you divide everyone up into as many groups as you can, and you have all these little committees coming in and running things, and yeah, I think we're pretty much getting there. In a statement, the regulator told the HuffPost, "We carefully considered complaints from viewers who felt that the presenter's comments ridiculed gender identity issues." Well, you see, I think a lot of the woke brigade ridicule genuine gender identities. The likes of people who are, like me, quite obviously a man. I don't need to, and I shouldn't need to introduce myself as Kev, he, him. I think that makes a mockery, and it ridicules people who actually do have gender dysphoria, have transitioned. You feel me? You see where I'm coming from there? So while the presenter's remarks offended some viewers, hey, you can't do anything nowadays without offending somebody. If you open the curtains the wrong way, you're going to offend somebody. You know it. So while it offended some viewers, we took into account his later expression of support and respect for a transgender guest. Well, hallelujah. Common sense, eh? The programme also featured a range of gender-related discussions, which another presenter provided further context by arguing that people had the right to choose how they identify. Yes, but not to the point where it's designed in some ways to trigger the 99.99999% of the people out there. It's just, come on, we've gone too far. Wait, over 100 genders? Really? Heard somebody talking the other day. I think it was on Joe Rogan's show. Now, I'm probably going to butcher this, but it's so true. It used to be we lived in a world where biology dictated or determined gender. But now we're living in a world where gender is dictating, determining biology. Woketopia, ladies and gentlemen. Woketopia. But it doesn't end there, because in Woketopia, things are really weird, right? And we're staying on the same kind of lines here, because, you know, we're dealing with the music there, the music industry, and how they're very woke and they're changing all of the lyrics to not offend the 0.0000001% of people. You get me, right? And there's something else going on in the music scene right now that really has kind of taken me aback. And I don't know, but have you all been following what Kanye West is up to? Like, Mad Kanye? I don't know. It's like he's been acting really strange in recent times, right? He's gone all in on the Trump train. I'm not criticising that. But I never ever thought I would see the day that, especially after all of his recent kind of publicity and the fact that he has gone and leant towards the Donald, the Orange Man. I never thought I'd see his new album coming in at number one again, and I certainly didn't think I would see Kanye West's Jesus is King his #1 album in America. Now, why am I bringing this up? Why am I even bringing this up after talking about all of this wokeness and John Legend and everything else? Well, I'll tell you, folks, this here is one example, and you can laugh at me if you want. This is one example of what happens when there's a reaction to Woketopia. Because remember, it is only that very small minority that are very, very vocal, and it can appear that they are dictating the way the world works, but most people are like us. We're part of that 99.999% that really just look at all of this and go, what the hell's going on? And we can't let them construct this reality, this kind of perception deception, as old Ike would call it, where we think that that's the way the world is, so we just should shut up and get along to, or kind of go along to get along. Because in reality, people are now starting to kind of react. I think people have had enough. And I think when you see the likes of this, Kanye West going to #1 with his Jesus is King album, I think that's just one response, because we often talk about, or not me on my show, but other shows out there, and I agree, it does seem to be that there's some kind of effort to take anything Christian off the internet, be it on here, be it Facebook, be it Twitter. And I don't really get involved in it because I think religion and faith and stuff should be a personal thing. That way it doesn't divide people the way it has done for years. Many wars have we fought over our divisions on that kind of level. But it does appear to me that, you know, there's an effort to censor that kind of content as opposed to, say, the Satanic Temple that's publicized everywhere, right? Well, I think something like this, and I don't think Kanye's mad, by the way. I'll tell you that right now. I might call him Mad Kanye. But I think Kanye's probably been going through something we all went through. Maybe. I think Kanye's had a bit of an awakening the past couple of years. I don't know. It's the only real way I can put into context some of his behaviour. Some of the ways he's been acting. Some people love him. Some people hate him. I don't really fall either way on Kanye, to be honest with you. But it's interesting to watch what's going on there. And I'm not going to read too much of this, folks. I just thought it was interesting, you know, while we're rewriting songs, you know, on one hand over here, you know, you've got Kanye West that's totally gone against everything in the industry. And now he finds himself back at #1 here. I don't know. Rap megastar and fashion mogul Kanye West has made history with his 11-track gospel album, Jesus is King, debuting #1 on the Billboard 200 album charts, making the Grammy winner 9th consecutive #1 debut. Now, Kanye West released the album last month amid a very public promotional tour in which he opened up about his transformation and journey in forgiving, forging a relationship with God. The Jesus Walks crooner's transformation apparently resonated with Christians across the world, many who have been hungry for a Christian hip-hop or gospel album that rivals the mainstream. And remember what Piers Morgan was saying to John Legend? You know, maybe if you want to start, like, sorting out lyrics and being aware of, like, what songs are portraying and things, maybe you ought to start with the rap scene. And then on the flip side of this, the actual one that gets to the top of the kind of rap charts is a song that's going the other way. I don't know, folks. Again, I think people are starting to react. We're in interesting times, whatever's happening, right? Big time. There's a pendulum swinging about right now. I don't know where it's going to land, but great change. And I think we can all feel that we're in this time of great change. And I'm always encouraged. I'm always encouraged by the fact that we are the vast majority still. Might not feel like that at times. It might feel like the world's just gone too crazy. There's no turning back. I don't think it's all is lost yet when it comes to the wokeness and woketopia. I think we can still pimp out woketopia into something that we would like to see. But then again, ladies and gentlemen, oh, wait a minute. I can't say that anymore. No, I can't say ladies and gentlemen. And I'll explain why after these short tunes. Don't go anywhere. And we'll come to the chat room as well. What do you folks out there think about Kanye? Is he as fake as a $4 bill? Is he going through the waking up process that we've gone through? Seen somebody mentioning Jim Carrey out there in the chat room as well. There's somebody else that went through it. Oh boy, did he get an awakening. Love listening to him talking now. Some people still hate him because he was in Hollywood. Got to remember, folks, whether you're Kanye West, Jim Carrey, even bloody George Soros himself. We're all humans, folks. Well, okay then, when George Soros, I don't know, maybe it's questionable if he's a human, but you get me, right? Take away the fame, take away the fortune. In the end of the day, we're all just biological spacesuits that are acting as vehicles for what's really inside. And what's really inside, our true essence, we're all the same. We're just flesh and bone humans, and an experience that can happen to you or I, the awakening, or even more publicly to somebody like David Icke. Can it happen to people in the public eye as well? I would say, of course it can. Maybe we should give people a chance when they do try and come back to the good side.
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
Maybe Kanye's seen the power of the dark side. I don't know. I don't know, folks. Let's see what the chat room are saying. Somebody says Jim Carrey ex-Scientology, which makes him, what, only half a moron. I don't judge people that went... Scientology's weird as hell, but yeah. I think when you're in that Hollywood scene, there's a bit of pressure to go into that as well, right? It's back crap crazy. I get it. Uh-oh, here we go, folks. It's going to sound like, I don't know, I'm in, like, Baghdad or something. I know Baghdad's not... Oh, dang. Can you all hear that out there? I'll wait and see if the chat room can hear that. This is horrendous. Absolutely horrendous.
Hear it? Yeah, I'm going to go and watch. Let's go. You're alright.
Darth Kanye.
That is correct.
Tim, no need to be sorry, brother. No need to be sorry at all, dude. Or would it be Darth West?
What?
He will join us or die, Master.
Can you hear it, folks? Yeah, you can hear it. Yeah. It's crazy. Mammoth. Mammoth, mammoth. Dang, dude. Dang, dude. Yes, indeed. So old Kanye, I think he's going through a bit of an awakening. I get it. Maybe the old one half of the establishment over there are trying to capture him back into the game. I don't know. Somebody says he's a clone. Maybe he is. Of course, Kristen. Of course I did. I've arranged fireworks and bonfires all around the country for you today, Kristen, and you didn't even get yourself over here for it. It's been like a war zone for the last hour, says Jimbo. Oh, tell me about it, dude. May the farce be with you. Yes, indeed. I like that one.
Good work.
Absolutely. But yeah, like I was saying, folks, I have to call you folks. Can I even call you folks? Check that headline out. What the hell's going on? Theatres will ban the phrase ladies and gentlemen under new guidelines from the Actors Union Equity. Oh, come on. Really, really? Yes, indeed. And next year as well, I think it's the British Actors BAFTA, I think they're called. I think they're going to be having a Best Male, Best Female, and Best Non-Binary category at their Woke Awards, because you've got to have a Woke Award ceremony in Woketopia, right? So let's see what they're saying here. It wasn't that long ago that we were having a laugh with the fact that we couldn't say guys. Remember they said you can't say guys because it's not very inclusive and you're immediately offending people in the room. Now you can't even say ladies and gentlemen. What are we going to be told here? Are we going to have to like say, hello, scholars? Yes, citizens. Brothers, sisters, zeesters, heasters, geesters, keisters. I don't bloody know. It's crazy. So it says audiences will no longer hear the words ladies and gentlemen, while performers should not have backhanded compliments or be described as brave under new gender-neutral guidelines from the Actors Union Equity. What the hell? You can't describe somebody as brave? Published last week, the advice is aimed at people and venues working with LGBT performers. Campaigners for LGBT rights say that such phrases as ladies and gentlemen exclude people who do not identify as male or female, but rather as non-binary, such as singer Sam Smith. Oh my God. Again, why should we change everything? Just to pander to the feelings of the 0.00001%. Has anyone ever stopped to ask what the 99% think about all of this? Are our emotions been damaged? Are our feelings hurt by any of this? You see, this is where it's not very equal, is it? Not at all. It's not even all that inclusive. Because unless you're in one of these very, very, very unique and specific clubs, i.e. your Z's, your G's, you have no bloody idea. You get me though, right? You get me, and I'll try not to get triggered here. Equity's guide also advises against compliments on appearance, clothing, voice, quality, identity, or the performer being brave. So you can't actually compliment anyone anymore. You just can't risk it. You can't actually be nice and courteous and pleasant to anyone. Long gone are the days when, you treat people the way that you yourself would like to be treated, right? Because I'd like people to be pleasant to me. I'd like them to be respectful. Yeah, absolutely. But I'd also like them not to be fearful of having a bloody conversation with me. And any little quirks I've got in my head, that's in my head. It's not on them to know all my quirks and all my little identifiers and everything else. That's on me. So it goes on. And what's wrong with telling somebody they've been brave? What's wrong pointing out and giving them credit and telling them, you know that somebody was maybe a bit nervous in the world of acting and they absolutely nailed the part. Nailed it really hard, really controversial role. But I tell you what, they brought it home and they nailed it. And you can't say to them, you're really brave doing that. Maybe something from their own personal, the real world, really resonated with the part they were playing. Maybe it was really emotional on that level, but they were brave to get through it. But you can't tell them that anymore. No, that would be deemed offensive, right? What the fiddlesticks is going on, I ask you? So it says, following the publication of the guide, the National Theatre pledged to phase out ladies and gentlemen, while the Royal Shakespearean Company said it would strive to create environments which welcome and support trans people and who identify their gender as fluid. Meanwhile, Nika Burns, co-owner of NIMAX Theatre, said, coming to the theatre is a shared and communal experience in one single auditorium, and we want to please our audience and give them a great evening. We wouldn't want anyone to feel offended or annoyed. Many years, many centuries of theatres existed. Don't remember this ever. Whoa. Hey, Lich, thank you.
And they say the Borg is not real. You will be assimilated.
At this point, maybe being assimilated, Lich, is the way to go. Maybe that's the thing to do, because at least if I get assimilated, then I won't be in control of my own thoughts, which in turn won't trigger me anytime I am dealing with woketopian stories. Yes, welcome to our woketopian future, folks. I tell you, people have been keeping their eye on the technology and all that kind of stuff. It's these buggers we need to watch out for. This lot are worse than robots. So, it says, nobody's ever been offended by this in the past. Nobody's ever stormed out of the theatre incandescent with rage because somebody addressed the audience as ladies and gentlemen. That's never happened. Tell me where that has happened before. This is a non-problem. It's a nothing issue. Big nothing burger, as people like to say. It's absolute craziness. What situation have any of you people out there been in where ladies and gentlemen was said and you immediately cringed and felt kind of uncomfortable because, it wasn't very inclusive of somebody maybe a couple of rows down or your friend over there? Never! Absolutely bloody never. It's ridiculous. Just ridiculous. But hey, it's okay. It's okay. That's the way Woketopia is. And even though it's not a problem, it is now and they've fixed it. Thanks for fixing that non-problem. I'm more offended by the sight of this. I don't even know what that is. Okay, maybe ladies and gentlemen doesn't cover everything when you look at that. I don't know. In 2017, Tamsin Gregg starred as Butler Malvolia in the Royal National Theatre's production of Twelfth Night, which also featured the normally fail? It's not going to be... If it's normally male, you know they've swapped it out now, don't you? You see what I mean? Rewriting everything. Because you can't have a pesky male playing a man's part, right? Which also featured the normally male Feste, also turned into a woman. Dear me. Oh, this is as bad as James Bond and 007 getting woke and women coming into it. You know, ladies, I am the biggest fan of women in the world. I'm all for equality, but this is just getting ridiculous, okay? Just ridiculous. Elsewhere, I mean, look at this. Look at this. What woman wants to see that? Dear Lord, man, you look like you've just stepped out with somebody's neck curtain on. And this is like the face of, like, British men. Sam Smith, you're an absolute. Whoso. Count to 10, Kev. Elsewhere, last month, the Old Vic Theatre announced it had scrapped its men. What bloody hell, they've got rid of the toilets and replaced them with self-selection facilities that can be used by both genders. Self-selection facilities. Well, I've bloody heard it all now. God. Oh, indeed, indeed. Why do I let myself be triggered in front of all of you? Dear Lord. Oh, thank goodness that's finished. Look at the state of this. Oh, come on, please. Dearie me. Yeah. I think I might need to look for the nearest self-selection facility. Yes. Lisa says, is Anne laundering your blood off her trainers? Probably. Yes, probably. It's ma'am, says Chaka Khan. I'll take you outside and I'll kick your ass to prove it's ma'am. You know what? I need to watch that. I need to watch that right now. After. I need to see something funny after all of that, folks.
Money back.
Excuse me, sir. There's a young man in here. You need to watch him out.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
I can call.
It is ma'am. It is ma'am. It is ma'am.
I can call the police if you'd like me to. You need to settle down.
You need to settle down and mind your business, okay?
Both of you guys?
Ma'am. Once again, ma'am.
I said both of you.
No, you said sir. Once again, it's ma'am. Ma'am.
I actually said both of you guys.
It's ma'am.
I actually said both of you guys. It was in general.
Right beforehand, you fucking said sir.
Sir? Okay.
Motherfucker, take it outside if you want to call me sir again.
What ma'am talks like that? Dude, if you're gonna rock the whole man, I feel like a woman kind of look. You know, you can't be going about acting like a dude telling people you're a ma'am. It puts the shits into me, man. I wouldn't mess with that dude. And that's a dude. Don't let his craziness. That's just nuts. Oh, goodness sake, pandering to his craziness, man. And that's not to take anything away from people who are genuinely, you know, gender dysphoric or actual trans people. That.
I will show you a fucking sir.
That's the Mothman.
Motherfucker.
I apologize now.
Wouldn't it have been funny if he'd kicked that and there was like some kind of concrete breeze block in the bottom or something? Maybe it was like a high crime area and people were stealing stuff and he broke his foot. I know, a bit cruel, I know, but I needed to see that after all of this wokeness, folks. And it's getting cold outside. And the fireworks are going mad. What are we going to do about it? No idea. Holly. You take me nicely to my next triggery story. The days of Noah. What if Noah was offending people by taking animals onto the ark? Yeah. He was very, very gender specific, was Noah. You know it's pissed people off. Me too. Hashtag Noah too? No, surely not. Ha, surely yes. Noah too. And not only that, folks, there's been a push for Noah too for years. Oh, Noah, if only you had known the score back in the day. I wonder if you'd even have built the boat in the first place. Honey badger, don't let things like species or things like that get in the way of Woketopia. Remember, not everything that was determined to be factual or even maybe just rumoured in the past has to be set in stone anymore. No. Nothing is safe in Woketopia, honey. You should have known that. Yes, indeed, folks. Oh, I'm on it today. We're on it. Yeah, couldn't believe it. Imagine Noah getting dragged into all of this craziness. Who knew? Obviously, no, I didn't. No, I didn't know. I've lost the plot. And what if there's been a push, a conspiracy for decades to go after Noah? No shit. I'm not joking. I'm going to show you, folks. But here, I found this article today. Oh, cut the music, Coney. Coney's in charge of the music now. See how he done that? Pretty cool, right? Coney, you're on it, man. And if you like the traffic cone, remember, all you got to do is go and check out the crochet couple over at Facebook. They didn't ask me to advertise that, but Fred Doe from the chat room was kind enough to send me this. A couple of love hearts, a little stress ball, and yeah, go and check them out. Facebook, the crochet couple. But this story here, I was looking for an article that would come from our point of view, like I done with Piers Morgan, almost like instead of triggering everyone, looking at what people are saying in response to Woketopia. And then it took a really weird twist, only one paragraph into this, okay? So this comes from the Conservative Woman. So I thought this is going to be something kind of fighting back, talking out about the whole kind of Woketopia. Not going to be happy with, surely, but more conservative. It says children on the front line of the gender battle. Many times have we said that. And this comes from today, folks. I'm not going back in time here. This is today. And it says the animals went in 2 by 2. Or did they? The account of Noah's Ark didn't sit well with Judith Lorber's ideal gender-free world. And if Martin Luther King wanted his children to experience racial equality, she dreamed of a future where there would be gender equality. When we no longer ask boy or girl in order to start gendering an infant, when the information is as irrelevant as the colour of a child's eyes, only then will men and women be socially interchangeable and really equal. And when that happens, there will no longer be any need for gender at all. And that's why in 1986, Judith Lorber wrote Dismantling Noah's Ark. Dismantling Noah's Ark. Of course I've got it here, folks. Of course I've got it. And don't panic, it's not a big read. But we'll go through this, okay? We'll go and see what this says, okay? Have a little looky. Indeed. So it says, Dismantling Noah's Ark. And this comes from Sex Roles, Volume 14. It says, feminist theory and research have shown us that gender is a linchpin of social orders. But they have not seriously envisaged a social order without gender. Examination of the various bases of gender demonstrates that gender is essentially a social construction. And the relations between women and men are essentially social relations. What is socially constructed can be reconstructed, and social relations can be rearranged. A social order is possible without gender as an organizing principle, and this paper takes forward tendencies and policies in post-industrial societies to show how, if carried through, they could be used to construct a non-gendered social order. See how long this has been in the works, folks? 1986. 1986. 33 years ago. That's how long all of this plan has been in place. This isn't anything new at all. And it has been getting talked about, and it has been getting thrown about out there if you know where to look. You see, that's what Alex Jones always used to say as well, right? They hide things in plain sight. They put it in their own writings. They're not shy about the way they want the world to go. And back in 1986, if somebody had said to you, well, in 2019, there's going to be lesbian penguins adopting a non-binary penguin genderless child at London Zoo, and there's going to be 100 genders in the world, you would have probably broke a rib laughing and then phoned the doctor to come and see this person that was telling you this craziness. Yet we can see that it was being talked about all the way from then, and here we are in the world today. Just saying. So it says, and it's got a quote here from the Bible. Thou shalt come into the ark, thou and thy son, thy wife, and thy sons' wives with thee, and of everything of all flesh, 2 of every sort shall thou bring into the ark, to keep them alive with thee. They shall be male and female. Did she have a boy or a girl? I asked. Why do you want to know? Said my 13-year-old. It's a paradox of feminist politics that women must act politically as a group in order to diffuse gender as a discriminative status. In the current climate, and no doubt for a long time to come, if women are to gain anything like equal representation in existing institutions, they must push for their rights as women. Another necessary political stance has been the valorization of women's characteristics and special perspectives to counter their devaluation in male-dominated cultures. However, both strategies have limits that caution us to keep in mind that equal rights for women as a group and the celebration of the female are effectively only as short-term politics. The permeation of existing institutions with gender inequality makes the long-term goal of equal opportunity within them a sham. Glorifying womanliness consolidates female unity and power, but when pushed to extremes, it comes dangerously close to reviving the cult of true womanhood and the ideology of separate spheres. The long-term goal of feminism must be no less than the eradication of gender as an organising principle of post-industrial society. So, feminists, and somebody quite prominent by the sounds of it back in the 80s, was telling women it's not even about being a woman. Their fight, their plight, and they were being used to eradicate genders altogether. I wonder how many of the woke brigade know that. Feminist theory and research have shown us that gender is a linchpin of social order, but they have not seriously envisaged a social order without gender. Examination of the social basis of gender demonstrates that gender is essentially a social construction, and the relations between women and men are essentially social relations. What is socially constructed can be reconstructed, and social relations can be arranged or rearranged. A modern social order is possible without gender, and I would like to sketch what it might look like so that it is clear what I mean when I speak of gender as a set of oppositional relationships that sustain and are sustained by institutionalized patterns of behavior. And I begin by analysing the concept of gender as a social construct. Now, just read this last bit here. Gender supposedly rests on an obvious philosophical and biological dichotomy, but it can be argued that the concept of physiological and biological dimorphism emerges from our firmly held belief in two and only two genders. In everyday life and scientific research, Kessler and McKenna argue that we first attribute sexual dimorphism and then look, and we've got we've got a headache coming in. We've got a super chat coming in from First World Problems.
What a load of tosh, I've got a headache, pouting face.
And it is a load of old tosh, but do you know why it's important? Because now we can start to see what they're really trying to do. It's not that they want 100 genders or 200 genders. No, they just want one. They just want us all to be the bloody same. That's what they want. That's exactly what they want. And that's why they've had women fighting for not equal rights, not for the womanliness, as it was talking about in there, no, but actually to rewrite all of this altogether, to go against biology, to fly in the face of it and say, no, there's nothing. It's just you. You're just asexual. You're just all the same. Doesn't matter about your junk. Don't pay attention to that. You are all the same. One size fits all. That cookie cutter. We'll all be given the same. We'll all be treated the same. We'll all be living happily ever after in that kind of Borg mind that somebody was talking about earlier on. And where we're going to get babies from, Kev? How's that going to happen? Well, they go to the factory and they churn out babies when they need them. You know, with all the DNA and the genetics and the CRISPR and everything else they've got now. Yep. And maybe one of us peons now and again might win a lottery ticket where we're allowed to maybe have some happy fun time, and maybe we'll be allowed to contribute some DNA to our own baby. Maybe. That's where we're going. You look at any sci-fi movie, times it by 10, and then sprinkle a whole heap of wokeness on it and make it worse by a factor of 90, and you're going to look at Woketopia. That's where we are. That's where we're going. So it says here, and remember, it's been a plan a long time in the making. This isn't something they came up with last year. This isn't something that kind of sailed down the Delaware with old AOC when she came to town. No, wokeness, man, it's been planned for a while. And they brainwashed people into actually fighting for it. Couldn't make it up. So it says here, Kessler and McKenna argue that we first attribute sexual dimorphism and then look at evidence of it in order to have good reasons for the original sorting of people into categories, female or male. No, it's to do with biology. That's why we're sorted into categories like female and male. Just saying. From the perspective of dialectical materialism, Alison Jagger, no relation of Mick, I don't think, points out that physiological sex differences are socially produced by differences in diet, exercise, work, and selective breeding. Selective breeding! Oh, nice. Yes. And reproduction and sexuality are social constructs as they are biologically based. Most human beings produce both androgens and estrogens, and these are chemicals converted into each other so that the endocrine nature of human species is hermaphroditic. Yes, there you go. They're making the case for us all being the same, folks. We're all just hermaphrodites. We might have little different bits of junk, but as she seems to point out here, that all comes from, differences in our diet and our exercise and our work. Who knew? Physiological sex differences may be quantitative, but the boundaries between male and female are socially located and differentiated by what Gail Rubin says, calls a sameness taboo, dividing the sexes into two mutually exclusive categories, a taboo that which exasperates biological differences between the sexes and therefore creates gender. So that, folks, is just a little look at, something that I think shows that they've been planning this for a long time, or at least this has been something in the minds of people for a long time, and we're there now. We're there. Literally, not 100 genders, not 200, but it gets to the point where people like me and you rightly say, whoa, enough's enough. Come on, this is ridiculous. 5,722 different genders. How in hell's name am I meant to remember all of them? Well, it's okay, Kev, because actually we've now discovered that we're all the same. Problem, reaction, solution. Sounds weird, I know. I tell you what, it's starting to make more and more sense the more I look at it. But I've got one more story before we go today. And yes, it's not a dumb criminal, but I tell you what, wow. I had to take a double kind of take when I seen this character earlier on. And then we'll hang out in the chat for 10, 15 minutes and I'll need to decide whether I'm going to go live later on or not. Haven't prepared a thing for the show. Don't know if Johnny Whistles is coming. Could open up the phones, I suppose. Maybe. We'll see what happens. But I'll be back in a moment, folks. Last story of the day. It's not a dumb criminal, but my, oh my. If you've seen the program Breaking Bad, you're going to like this. Different tune, right? Different tune. Different tune. Yes, some nice happy time music in the safe space. I was gauging the audience. I don't want you getting all too triggered now. Biology matters in the safe space, okay? I'm just saying, biology matters. And First World Problem says, when is the brilliant Bill Bean on this week, and are you simulcasting? I'll get to that in just a moment, Jason, but you're going to like the answer. Pat Riot, do you know, if you'd gone out at Halloween dressed as that, it would have been the most offensive costume you could have chosen. In fact, you might not even have been allowed into Halloween parties. What costume do I speak of? Well, the straight white male, obviously. Just a guy. I'm right there with you, brother. You see, Just a Guy's got a response to these kind of selective, what were they called? Selective facilities? I can't remember what they were called anymore. Yeah, that's when Just a Guy is going to start identifying as Conor McGregor, and he's going to take matters into his own hand. And said, what was it called again? I need to find the name of that. Self-selection facilities. There it is, folks. I found it. Yep. Shannon's going full Conor McGregor. I like it, man. Oh, Brandy, you broke a pipe? No way. That's terrible, Brandy. I feel for you. It's always 420, Holly. It's always 420 somewhere, right?
My fucking money back.
Excuse me,
Excuse me, it's
sir, there's a young man in here.
ma'am.
I'm sorry.
It is ma'am.
I can call the police if you'd like me to. You need to settle down.
You need to settle down and mind your business, okay?
Both of you guys?
Ma'am, once again, ma'am.
I said both of you.
Ma'am,
I said both.
ma'am.
I said both.
Once again, ma'am. Once again, ma'am. Once again, ma'am.
Somebody in the chat room asked, what does cis mean? It means nothing. It means nothing. Why they use that is beyond me. If you're a cis male, it means you were born biologically a male, you've got junk, and you continue to go through life identifying as what your biology dictated. In other words, a male. And you can flip that round for the cis female as well. I know, but what's the point, Kev? I hear you asking. Exactly, there is no point. You see how half of it's just designed to cause conflict and confrontation, and to the point where there's so many genders, nobody knows what's left to do. They just give us the solution of, well, you're all hermaphrodites anyway. And I did have a little laugh when I was having my morning coffee. Okay, afternoon coffee. I don't see mornings anymore. I sleep them. But I was having my coffee and it came through on my phone saying that there's now actually a new test that can be done with women's urine. It might be the end of smear tests. And of course, first thought was that's absolutely fantastic. But then second thought was, but what about all the mams out there that are going to feel left out now that they can't go through that procedure that they were never biologically able to go through in the first place? Damn, big pharma companies, you ain't being inclusive now, are you? Well, you are, really, ain't you? Because I suppose I could get my urine tested and I could feel all included as well too. Yes, indeedy. Yes, indeed. And Jason was asking me, when is the brilliant Bill Bean going to be back on the show? Really? Tomorrow. Yep, Coney knows. Coney books the guest now. Coney says he's going to be back on tomorrow in hour number 2. Now, in hour number 2 tomorrow as well, we're going to be joined by one of our own. You might have heard Frank calling up the show when I have Don Wiskin on. And Frank is somebody we've come to know. He calls up once a month. And in the real world, away from calling up the show, Frank and his family found themselves in a situation where only a Bill Bean will do. So, fingers crossed, I'm hoping to get Bill Bean and Frank onto the show tomorrow to tell us about what Frank was going through, how Bill dealt with that. And of course, with Bill Bean there, we'll have all the usual Bill Bean type stuff as well. And in hour number 1 of the show, maybe, just maybe then, I will simulcast and I will put on the phones for all of you. And with it being a Bill Bean show, we'll try and keep it on the subject of the paranormal, the supernatural, the divine. Maybe you've had some divine intervention of some kind. Bill talks about warrior angels. Maybe you've got a call like that. That will be tomorrow night on the Kev Baker Show at 10 p.m. in the UK, 5 p.m. on the East Coast, 2 p.m. on the West Coast. Now, I might be going live tonight, maybe not. I'm going to be kind of rushing about if I do. But on Thursday, I've got a planned show with Ryan Gable. Now, here's the thing, folks. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to simulcast it like I first planned. And the reason for that is the subject matter of the show. Now, we're going to be talking about a recently released FBI documentary.
God makes man, women and angles are hermaphrodites. World order is trying to make man and woman hermaphrodites.
You nailed it. There you go. You nailed it. You said it better than anything I could have said. Absolutely, Lich. Now, like I was saying there, on Thursday, we may have to do the show exclusively on tfrlive.com. The reason being that one of the bigger YouTubers out there, Mr. Metaker, who does what we do here, only 950 million times better, and he's got a huge channel, he streams to thousands of people, he basically just got closed down in the past couple of days. And the only things he's spoken about in recent times has been this one subject. Now, I like what we've got going on here, and as you all know, this is basically my career now. It's my way of life, and I think, I have to really think long and hard about the longevity of the channel and our continuation of not just these streams, but everything else we do on YouTube as well. And I have to weigh that against whether it's worth it. And people are going to say, well, Kev, that's self-censoring, right? Well, not really, because I would still be doing the show over on TFR. I just have to think, and I have to be really careful with this one, folks, because there are some things they don't want us talking about. I get that, rightly or wrongly. And at times we have to respect that. Now, I know I'll be judged unfairly by some people out there if we don't do the simulcast on this one. But like I say, it will still be available on tfrlive.com. So do we go for it for this one live stream and hope nothing happens and plain sailing after that? Or do we risk it all with the one live stream and maybe never have any of this again? So that is why I am right now thinking Thursday night show is going to be on tfrlive.com. So I'm sure people in the chat room have got plenty to say about that. And I get it. I'll get criticism probably for it. But it's not that I'm not talking about it. It's just that I'm choosing where and when to do it. So then, with that said, let's shift gears into our last crazy story of today. Let's see. Go live, says King. We may do, we may do. It's the world we live in now, folks. The document's out there online. You can go and look at the document. You can go and download it. You can look at it. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? Not worth it, says Cricket. Don't risk it, says Honey. Totally understandable. You know, damn, you lot are absolutely amazing. It's been on my mind, you know, since I found out about Mr. Metaker. And I've been thinking, how do I even tell people out there that I might be considering not doing it on YouTube? And I'm thinking, people ain't, they're not going to take this. They're going to say, nah, Kevin, you need to talk about it. But just looking at some of the comments now, you lot rock. You get it. You actually do get it. You do get it. And I appreciate that so, so much. Seriously. Big time. Yep. Shutting down channels for any reason. Exactly. Exactly. It's exactly the way I see it. Why paint the big target on the back? It would be ridiculous. And obviously, maybe Scott, maybe Ryan, maybe they won't be happy with the decision I've made, and maybe they won't. I don't know. I'll need to put it to them, but that's where I'm sitting with that one right now, folks. And it will always be there. The show will be there at TFR. It'll be in the archive as well. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Let's move on. Maybe we'll do a show tonight. We could open the phones, couldn't we? What? I need to move so Anne can get her dinner. So we've got one more story, folks, right? One more story. Here we go. Remember I was talking about Breaking Bad? Let's exactly, folks. And there's people out there. Wake Up News, very much so. The UK column's great. Absolutely great. I had one of the guys on there, Mike Robinson from the UK column. He was on a few years ago. Great guy. Great channel. Big time. And that's the thing, folks. It's not like I've got some revelation to make about that document. I haven't found out anything that, like, nobody else has spoken about. So I would only be adding to the commentary that's already out there. And I'm sure if you haven't checked out yet, there's people talking about it. I think Metaker's videos will be down by now, right enough. But, yeah. Sidvich says, hey, I think yesterday the KBS sign was on the other side. So was the TV. Ah, you see, Sidvich, watch this, right? Watch this. I'm going to really confuse you now, brother. I'm going to really confuse you. Like, whoa. Like, see? I don't know. See, because the way I look, the way the monitors are set up, it looks like I'm looking off in the wrong direction if I've got it the right way around. Whereas if I flip it this way, now it looks like I'm looking at the chat room and I'm looking towards, do you feel me? Do you get me? Doesn't feel like I'm looking way around here. I don't know. I know, and it flips the KBS back to front. I get it. I get it, folks. But yeah, right, let me get into this last story before Anne starts to eat me. See what I'm talking about? See? Oh, lovely pizza to eat as well. Oh, lovely. She's probably going to spit on my pizza, though. So, she has. She spat on my pizza. So then she says, no, she doesn't say anything. Remember the TV show Breaking Bad? Right? I've never really watched Breaking Bad. I've never really watched it, but I know the main character in it, right? Check this out, folks. This is absolutely freaky AF. Man who looks just like Walter White in Breaking Bad, busted for meth. Check that out. Dang, dude. Dang. That's what I say. Dang. That is a weird one.
What one's what?
Exactly. Well, that's Walter White there, but that's the guy in his mugshot. Out of Breaking Bad. I know it's not in one of these Riverdales or crap programs you watch, Jan. Looks like him, doesn't it? Big time. So it says here, they say life imitates art, but really it's more like that Breaking Bad creator Vince Gilligan just Googled meth mugshots and then wrote his description of what main character meth and meth kingpin Walter White looked like based on rough composite of about 10 or so of those. So writing, like most things in life in 2019, is aided heavily by just Googling whatever the hell it is you need to know. Now, as you can see from the 50-year-old Illinois man, Todd, see, he's got the three names going on. His mugshot, that's probably exactly what Gilligan did, because Barrick is something of a ringer for one of TV's most iconic and terrifying characters. Barrick is currently on the run and wanted by the Galesburg Police Department for a probation violation related to the possession of meth. Yes, indeedy. I tell you, that is uncanny. Absolutely uncanny, isn't it? Don't miss Riverdale. See, Sam, Anne loves you to bits now. See, that's it. You've won her over. Yes, I thought that. But have you ever looked around at people, folk? I'm a people watcher, and I don't mean I'm some kind of crazy stalker. Only if you ask nicely. $5, me love you long time. I think $10, Anne will pimp me out. But have you ever looked at, like, people? There's only a set amount of ways or faces or models of humans. I know that sounds insane, right? But there's shapes of faces, and there's only so many of them. And you get people that do look similar. Now, this one here, this is pure doppelganger material, right? I mean, from head to toe. I know it's a fictional character, but even the lifestyle and everything, it's uncanny. But I don't know, you look at some people and it's almost like, well, that face rings a bell, but it does, because the more and more faces you see, and even now more so than ever with social media and the internet, we ourselves are seeing more faces than we ever did at any time in our history. And I think there's certain ways that people look. Maybe it's only 10 ways. You know, does that make sense to people? Yeah, but there's 100 genders. Exactly. But does that make sense? I don't know. Maybe I need to find a better way of putting it across to you. I don't know. What's people saying before I disappear? Stop hiding the missus. I'm not hiding her. She's literally right there. She just won't show it. Look, there's a hand. Look. No hairy hands. Look, there's a third hand. Yes. If you see a shoe zing by Kev's head, you'll know Anne exists. Oh, don't spell her name with an E. Oh, Brett. Oh, dang, dude. You're getting the shoe now, my friend. So, yeah, I thought that was quite a good one. I did think that was a good one. And I got that from the Discord server. Yes. And if you want to join the KBS Discord, what are you waiting for? Email me at kbsdiscord@protonmail.com. Kristen has got the password as well. Yes, she's got the password. So don't just blame me when it takes a while for people to respond to you. Kristen is getting email shamed right now, live on air. She's got the password too. So look, she's posting shoes in the chat room. It's not shoes, Kristen. You're slipping. You're slacking. That email needs attention. See, I'm delegating. See. There's an email address where people can write in and say they want to be in the server.
But the D thing, mate?
The Discord?
Yeah, the thing that I downloaded and still not been invited to.
All right, I'll send you an invite. Look,
Right.
you don't want to my Discord server? Well, I'm going to wrap it up here, folks. because remember I started the stream when I said that it felt like I'd done something wrong and I couldn't work it out. Well, no, it's not that.
How long have I had it downloaded for? About a week and not one invitation to join.
Did you ask me for an No, you didn't.
You should have just took the hint and just
Well, you see, folks, listen, there's no favoritism at KBS. Even Anne waits a couple of days for her email as well. See, so I don't show any favoritism whatsoever. So I'm going to go. I'm going to try and get fed. Am I getting fed? Maybe.
You're getting a pizza full of spit.
And I might, oh, look, you almost seen a head there. And I might be back later, folks. I might be back later. We'll see what happens. Ben Emlyn Jones on today? No. No, not that I know of. Now Robin's got me thinking, is Ben on today? I don't think he is. Anyway, folks, I am going to go. I'm going to get ready. I'm going to get fed. I'll let you all know. You'll know if I'm going to go on the show anyway, because I'll set the simulcast up. You know, I'm shameless like that. Anne's laughing, because what are you laughing at?
A good thing I'm not Dutch. You cannot be a clog.
Oh, that'd be sore, man. Big time sore if I got hit with a clog. Yes, right then, folks. We are out here. And Ben is great. I just need to organise a date for him to come on. Maybe Ben thinks it's today. If Ben thinks it's today, how glorious that would be. Because then I've got a show ready to happen. So I'm going to go and message Ben right now. But I don't think it's today. So anyway, folks, we are out here. Remember, if you want to become a member of the channel, I don't think we're going to make our goal. We're sitting here at 106. Can we do it by 11 and 11? We need 19 more members. If you want to support the stream, go click join. The link is in the description. You can also get to it here. If we get away from Mothman, you click on that there. Join. There's 3 offers. You get the special offer, £1.99 a month. Regular, £4.99 a month. Premium is £8.99 a month. All 3 levels get you exactly the same access to everything that we do here. Members only chat, members only streams. I just put in the price levels because I know too well that not everyone can afford the higher prices, but some people can, and some people like to go the extra yard. So that's the only reason there's any differences in there. And listen, folks, listen. We get all the safe spaces during the week. No need to be a member. We get all the KBS simulcast. No need to be a member. What I'm trying to say is you're appreciated here whether you do become a member or not. And like I say, though, we get the Sunday streams where in the near future we'll be having the Charlie Robinsons, we'll be getting the Ryans on there. And that will be, it will be a definitely a VIP only affair. So then, until later on, oh no, I've gone and set it up now, haven't I? Maybe later on. Keep looking for the woo, keep the minds open, but not to the point where the brain turns to black goo. So we are out of here, and we're going to play some happy music on the way out today. Yes, indeed. And remember, Mothman matters.